Hi there folks, Keenan here. For Halloweek, I have composed a 4-part video series on the supernatural creatures of Kaimere, the setting of my fantasy literary work, and my speculative biology project. As you might expect from the last part of that sentence, they aren't magical in the strictest sense, rather the manipulations of the endemic microorganisms of Kaimere that is the explanation behind all things described as magic, including the very portals that define Kaimere as a seed world for Earth organisms. For the sake of simplicity, I call it magic. Today we will talk about the magical beings in general terms, and subsequent videos will cover the homunculi, skin changers, and witches found in my anthology of short stories, Tales of Kaimere, and my upcoming novel, The Lost Hellfighter. Kaimere is a distant planet connected to Earth by a portal. Over millions of years, ever since our late Devonian era, many organisms have been harvested from Earth and replicated on Kaimere, where they evolve in independent ways in this new context than their descendants did on Earth. There are no plants or animals endemic to Kaimere. All multicellular organisms are functionally descendants of cloned flora and fauna taken from our planet. That's not to say that Kaimere is without its endemic life. Far from it, their organisms are just all unicellular. Some, like the purple algae that once dominated the planet before plants were introduced, are large enough to be seen. Most, however, are microscopic. The very portal that provided Kaimere with the iconic dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and marine reptiles which seem to define it is, in fact, one of these endemic life forms. Portals are collections of microbes which send out satellite swarms to collect necessary nutrients, consume them, and then the main hive replicates it back home to optimize their habitat. You can learn more about this process in my first video, What is Kaimere?, which explains how the portals work. There are other species of endemic swarms that alter their environment by other means, such as breaking down barriers, moving objects, and retrieving nutrients without all the extra effort of replication. Some of these hives infect a multicellular host, employing them to optimize their habitat, which often results in making their host as healthy and durable as possible. As these swarms are often imperceptible to our eyes, their movements and manipulations seem supernatural. Chimerans describe it as magic. From this perspective, magic itself is the endemic life of Kaimere. The most common forms of magic, or at least that which is most familiar to Chimerans, is that which bonds to a host. There are many species of this magic, each which interact with their host and environment differently. Sometimes magic is accepted by the host, while other bodies fight it off like a disease. Megafauna are generally the preferred host of magic, as their lives tend to be longer and they are often better at shaping their environment. Conversely, the immune system of larger animals can often overpower aggressive swarms. For this reason, natural magic often plays a minimal role in the host's life, simply hitching a ride, being naturally selected for covert inhabitants. In general, these hives are categorized by Chimeran naturalists in 2 groups, viral magic and hereditary magic. Viral magic hives bind with any potential host, leaving once the host dies, and seeking out a new one to occupy and continue this cycle. Often the hive remains together, although occasionally they will spread out to other hosts, usually those nearby in the same ecosystem. Hereditary magic are hives that evolved symbiotically with a particular population or species, their success or failure being linked to that of their host species, as they become too specialized for that body to adapt to a new sort of host if their species goes extinct. Hereditary magic has almost always passed from mother to child, as their bodies have more time to pass the hive along. The slow aging of Chimerans and their overall preternatural health is because of a strain of hereditary magic found throughout their population. It is a subtle magic, not manifesting in as dramatic a way as skin changing and witchcraft magic, but it is certainly magic at play. It is not known when this happened, as many fossil Chimerans are shown to have aging comparable to humans on Earth, but as it is universal among all Chimerans, scholars believe it was linked to some transmission other than hereditary magic. Both forms of magic, viral and hereditary, do occur naturally. In most cases, it is largely undetected, having a minimal impact on the host. There are a few extreme cases of more aggressive strains which fight to overtake their host's body, assuming full control. These strains are rare, not lasting long due to their volatility, but their impact has triggered many stories of ferocious demons, burning through host bodies and warping them beyond recognition in a desperate gambit to find a body that can endure their occupation. If they do find a durable host, they will often warp the creature into something that must feed voraciously to support the magic, and inevitably have a devastating negative impact on the local ecology, often depleting a region and dying when it cannot sustain itself, becoming a victim of its own warped success. Vaskalamaldus, the man-eating Asdarkid in Death Walks on Broken Wings, first of the short story in Tales of Kaimere, is one such warped monster. There are natural instances of these aggressive and powerful hives binding to a host that already has potent hereditary magic. This will sometimes kill the host and both strains of magic, but occasionally a sort of truce is made. These hosts are very powerful, able to endure terrible punishment and transform their environments. The antagonists of Frost and Famine, seventh of the Tales of Kaimere short stories, are animals with hereditary magic warped by a viral hive, enabling them to perform great and terrible feats that the characters can only comprehend as supernatural. Scholars believe that it was a bond between hereditary magic and a powerful viral hive that created the first witches. It is also theorized to be the origin of skin changers. This is also theorized by some to be the origin of skin changers. Both of these subjects will be further explored in their respective videos later on this week. The scholars of Bolundukoi also believe that this is the process by which the now extinct first children mastered strains of magic. Over time, it is believed that the first children became quite proficient in using magic to manipulate hosts for a range of their own uses. Scholars are unclear what these uses were, as the only accounts are through cave art from Chimerans or the strange writing of the first children that have yet to be deciphered. But theories range from constructs of war to bodies in which they would place their gods. More about these homunculi in the next installment of this series. As the first life on Kaimere, magic has a long and influential history on the planet and its ecologies. It is a key component to the foundation of the food chain and enables marvelous environmental productivity. Over the next week, we will explore several iconic legacies of beings infused with this magic, the homunculi, skin changers, and witches, but this will only scratch the surface of the myriad mysteries of this extraordinary world. Until then, cheers folks!